Hey everybody, welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. My name's Insert Name here, and today we'll be changing up a bit of code, just making it a bit cleaner and easier to work with. This would be important because the reason we're doing this code adjustment is to make sure it's way easier to detect players and cars. So we'll just move everything to an AI controller, which is something Unreal Engine provides for AI, which is heaps and bounds easier to work with than the solution we were going for. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Now before we go edit the car AI blueprint, we're going to create a new blueprint class. Go to all classes, and we want AI controller. We were actually supposed to use an AI controller this entire time. I just didn't because I wanted to explain the basics of the car AI before we go create this pretty advanced backing for our code. So we'll just name this car AI controller. Now you can open up that. Just drag that, tab that to the window. Vehicle Advanced Example Map. We'll go to our car AI or AI car blueprint, and we're gonna copy this entire set of code. You might notice there's probably gonna be an error when we do this, and that's actually what we want. So if we paste, it's gonna say, yeah, we have a lot of references to functions that don't exist in this AI controller. So this get lane, we want to create matching function, create matching function, and create matching function, and then confirm. Now it's just gonna separate code in these bits and pieces, and we're gonna fix that all, of course, as the episode progresses. So just drag your event tick to the beginning part, this get all actors of class, and connect it up. Now, firstly, we're gonna fix all these references to vehicle movement component. The AI controller does not have a vehicle movement component, this car AI controller, and we're actually not going to use this AI car anymore. So we're going to go to our chaos vehicle blueprint, and here at tech, we're going to update our car AI based on this car he's controlling. So we'll go to our event tick, yeah, and then we'll take this execution pin and we'll cast to car AI controller. Then the object reference will be get AI controller, and the controlled actor would be, of course, this car or self reference. Now, if the cast failed, then we should then just run the code normally. But if the cast actually came out successful, we're gonna take this AI car controller and we're gonna promote that to a variable. And then we're of course gonna connect that to the top pin. And as car AI controller, now we can use this for anything. We're gonna go to our car AI controller, this vehicle movement component. We're going to make a reference to ourself or the car that we're controlling. Yep. So let's go to our variables plus, and then we'll make a reference to vehicle chaos vehicle movement component. We'll get an object reference, and this will be the movement component, and then you should just delete a reference to that. Get, and there we already fixed one of our problems. We have multiple to fix, of course. So let's go to our functions we have here. Our get lane will have nothing in it. So let's go to here, drag all this out. Then we're gonna go to our AI car, go to the get lane function, and copy every single bit of code under the result nodes. Okay, copy. Then we're gonna go to our car AI controller, go to the get lane function, and of course paste. Says it wants to get current car speed. Don't worry, we're gonna fix that soon. just create a backcheat function for now. Then we're gonna go drag this. Yeah, just drag it out. Now plug it up like we had it in the core AI blueprint. And just go here, connect the spline up, and boom. Compile, save. It's gonna give an error for gate current car speed, but we're going to fix that now. So to fix this gate current car speed, we're actually going to create a new function in the chaos vehicle blueprint. Or we're not really gonna create a new function. We're gonna go to our update HUD strings. And here's already the calculation done for us. So I'm going to take this get forward speed. And then I'm just gonna put this into a function. This function will be of type pure. And then you can name this function, rename, update car speed. And then we're just going to go to our event graph. And we're going to make a new variable for this car AI controller that will save the speed over there. So go to your car AI controller, add a new variable. This will be of type float. And then you'll name this car speed. Compile, save. You can just go to this get current car speed. And in fact, just already replace it. You make a compile, save, that already fixed it. But we're going to go to our chaos vehicle blueprint. Go to the update HUD strings, the car speed. And we're gonna do stuff differently based off we're car AI or we're just a player. So we're gonna go back to our event graph. And we're gonna make a new boolean. This boolean will store if we're a car AI or not. So is AI controlled? And then you can just drag that out to the set. So if the cast was successful, we know we are AI controlled. Then you can just plug that up on top. And if the cast failed, then we are not AI controlled. The reason why we're doing this in tech is it makes it possible to switch to a player to an AI car for like extra possession stuff if you'd like to do that in the future. So compile, save, and that's perfect. We're gonna go to our update car speed, and then we're gonna make a bool here. Drag this execution pin name. Make a branch node. And the condition will be if we're AI controlled. Is AI controlled? If it's true, we're going to take our as AI car controller reference and set car speed to this calculation here. Plug that into the true, and then we can plug in the return value. We don't really care about what works out after this. But if we're false, we don't want to do any of this car speed calculations. That'd be too unnecessary. There's no point for it. So just make reroute nodes, clean up your code a bit. Looks really ugly now I look at it, but I'll just have to do. Of course, you can clean this up in your free time. Compile, save. Go to your event graph, and now it's looking pretty good. Now let's go fix more references in our car AI controller. We'll just go to the event graph, and you will look for references where there's problems. Here, set input. There's nothing in it because it created a new function with a similar name. So how we're gonna fix this is we're gonna take our movement component, get, and of course set throttle, and make another copy of this movement component, and then set brake input. You can just plug that in there, plug that in, just plug the throttle at the throttle and the brake at the brake. Drag this around to clean it up a bit. And then we'll just go to the set brake input. It doesn't really need a return node. Compile, save. Now that we're done with this part, we already are fixing quite a lot of code pieces. This line tracer is an interesting story. I wanted to put the line tracer into this, but I found it to not really work towards my taste. So I'm gonna put the line tracer function into the chaos vehicle blueprint. So we're just gonna go to our AI car, take the line tracer code, copy, control copy, and then we're gonna go here, control paste. Now there's actually gonna be error with references. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our add top left. We're gonna add scene components. These were the places where the array or the line tracer shot out of. So our first scene component will be line trace left front. Then we'll just click on the mesh because we don't want these on the same object. Add another scene component. And this will be the line trace start point. If you did stuff right, you'd see they light up blue again from these gray non-correct variables. So this line trace left front isn't correct. We should rename it to offset at the end, or put an offset at the end. And as you see, yeah, pops up blue. Then we'll take our line trace right front offset. Add scene component. Now we spawned it into that one, so if it happened with you, just take it to the mesh, and we're gonna rename the scene component. It should be line trace right front offset, and compile, save. We're gonna see there's still errors, so of course we can fix that. So the way we're gonna fix that is by taking these hit results and of course copying their variables into the car controller. So we're just gonna go to our AI car, go to the front line trace hit result. You can copy anyone, control copy, and then you should go to your car AI controller, just click anywhere, control paste, and it makes a new hit result. Thus, when we go to our chaos vehicle blueprint, and we go to frontline trace hit result, we can then just take our as car AI controller and then set frontline trace hit result. And then it's the same as we've been doing for a while. So you don't have to worry. I'll skip this part of the video because you already know how to do this. It just saves me and you time. So see you back in a jiffy. Now when you're done, you should have something like this. You dragged every single hit out and also plugged in every single bool in. If you didn't know, you should have also copied the bools. So if you didn't, just pause the video and just do that quickly. If you're done, you might have noticed you may have gotten an error here. It's actually because of the fact that you didn't save this or compile and save. So compile and save. So when you go to your chaos vehicle blueprint, if you compile and save, all the errors are gone. So that's all we had to do with the raycast. Now if we go to our car AI controller, we might have noticed that there are no macro for the speed limiter. And we're going to have to create a new macro for that. So just create a new one called speed limiter. And then we'll just go to our AI car, go to the speed limiter, and then we'll just copy this code, control copy, go to our controller, paste. Then we're just gonna take the inputs, of course, plug in them, plug in this speed limit, plug in this execution pin, and then of course the outputs, we're just gonna do this simple. We're just gonna go true is of course under speed limit, and false is over speed limit. And then we're also just gonna go here And B is gonna be, of course, the speed limit. Compile, save. Now we can go back to the event graph and fix these references. Speed limiter, we'll just plug this in. We had a speed limit of 10. If it's under 10, it should always throttle. Of course, if it's over, we're not going to do this line tracer anymore. We can just skip that and unplug that, go over speed limit directly into the branch, and then do the set input. And of course, let's fix these corner stuff. So these cast to corner index, I'll just move this closer. This as well, move that closer. We'll just delete these 3 hit results. And what we're firstly gonna do is we're gonna move the line tracer into the Chaos Vehicle blueprint. So you know how we made a line tracer here? That's because we're gonna go to the event graph. And when we're in AI, we're gonna just take our line tracer and of course call that. And also another important thing is it's not actually gonna register speed or update the speed if we don't take this update HUD strings. Control copy, control paste that, and just plug that in as well. We're also just going to extend this update comment and move the code along because we might add a bit more code than we might have anticipated. So just move this. Then we'll just go up here, move these in there, and perfect. Now we're just going to go create a new macro. This will be our get corner we have, but we're going to call this AI to be more clear. Now we're just going to go to our AI car, go to the get corner function. And then we're just gonna take these or all this code and of course just copy. Go to that, paste. And then we're actually just gonna drag this branch into the input, and we're not gonna give or use this execution pins anymore. We're just gonna save the variable of if we are in a corner or not, and then just send that directly to the car AI controller. So first, let's go to the car AI controller, create a new variable. This will be of the enum we created, so e turn index, and this will be our current corner index. And we might as well go to the event graph and just fix this reference here. Just delete that, then you'll just take our current corner index, get that and plug that in, and boom. We might as well also plug our speed limiter code in here. I think we had something like a 20, yeah, under speed limit, throttle, over, brake. And then we can just plug that in for now. Compile, save, go to our Chaos Vehicle blueprint. And what we're going to do is we're first going to check if we are in the corner, which is what this code is checking. So that means, yeah, we are. Now, if we are, we're just going to go and take a reference to our AI controller, hit that, and then set current corner index to the index we get here. So I'll just take this, get in turn corner. Okay, we'll just cast the corner index if that happened. Yeah, then we'll just go plug that in, and if our cast is successful, we'll just get the turn index, and then we'll just set that to the car AI. If the cast failed, we don't really want to do anything, in fact. So yeah, compile, save, and then when you go back to our car AI controller, this should be all working. Now, also another thing I'm gonna do to clean up the code here is I'm gonna go to the Chaos Vehicle Blueprint. Of course, go back to the get corner AI, and I'm going to make a new boolean. This boolean will be is in corner AI, and this will just tell the tell the AI that we're in a corner or we're not in one. So is in corner. Yeah, that's true. Control copy this, control paste. If it did a false cast, it's not in a corner. And also another thing is we're actually gonna go to this cast file and just hook this up, and it's still not in a corner. And this is all we had to do here. So we'll just run this code into the tick as well. So let's just go. Compile, go to our Chaos Vehicle Blueprint event graph, and then of course we're just gonna go get corner AI. Just run that code. Yeah, it's looking clean so far. Now I also forgot to fix one thing. And the get corner AI, we don't want this to be a variable local to the car. We want to send this to the car AI controller. So let's go to the car AI controller and just create a new variable. Is in corner, and this will be of course a boolean. Compile, save, and then we'll just go to our Chaos Vehicle Blueprint. This is in corner AI. We'll just delete that and take this as a car controller. Just copy that, and then we'll just drag that off and make the set is in corner. And then you'll just plug it in like we did the other. While I'm doing this on screen, I'm actually gonna talk about a suggestion someone made on Reddit about replacing the line traces with a capsule collider for detection, and I thought it was a pretty brilliant idea, not gonna lie. But the problem was when I played around with it is that it references the scene positions, which isn't really ideal in this case, and while there are a few workarounds to make that work, I'm still gonna go with the line traces, since I think that'll be great for now. Now that you've changed that around, you should go to your car AI controller. Just go to this front line trace hit and this switch on E-turn index. Just go create a new branch node. And the condition will be is in corner. Now if we are in a corner, we're just gonna of course do that code. If we're not in a corner, we're just gonna do our natural braking stuff. Compile and save. Now also one more thing we're going to do. Just gonna go to our Chaos Vehicle Blueprint, and we're gonna go to the event graph. And we're also gonna send the location and rotation of this vehicle. So we're just gonna go to car AI controller, add new variable. This will be of a location, and this variable type would be a vector. We'll also add a new variable, which will also be the rotation of the car. This will be a rotator. Now before we go back to the event graph, let me show you where we're gonna fix this. Is at get lane, get actor location. We're just gonna eat and take this location, plug that into old location, and then also take every reference of actor location and just plop in the location. And get actor location, plop the reference of the location. This get actor rotation, of course, is gonna be different. It's gonna use the rotation variable. And compile, save. Now we're gonna go back to the Chaos Vehicle Blueprint, go back to the tick, and now we're gonna take our AI controller and set location, and we also want to set the rotation. So yeah, just drag off the AI controller, set rotation, and then we'll just plug that in. Drag this out a bit, like I said, you really underestimate how much your code you are gonna write at the end of stuff. So we just drag this out. Just gonna go drag this out inner. Perfect. And now just gonna drag this out here. And this location and rotation will be set to our actor location. So get actor location. And then get actor rotation. And yeah, compile, save. Now we'll also just go and take our as AI controller. And we're also just gonna copy over the vehicle movement component. So just take as car AI controller. Just actually move these both ahead. And then we'll just move this back a bit. And then we'll just take as car AI controller. Get movement component. Sorry. You were supposed to set movement component. Then just plug that in, plug in the set, and also at the end of this, just plug in those. And boom, and then we're just gonna take this movement component and go and plug in our vehicle movement component, and then compile and save. Now we're gonna rapid fire these last changes because I know this video is getting quite long. We'll go to the get corner AI, plug in all the execution pins. So plug one in, just plug another one in. And then we're also gonna plug this one in. Just make it pretty with some reroute nodes. Something like this, and then something like this should work, yeah. Compile, save. Now we'll also go to our viewport. And these line trace start points will just move to the front of the car like we originally did in the car AI blueprint. Just move it around. So I like about 40 offset plus 80 in the front, then 20 up. And then also do that for the left offset. Minus 40, 80 in front, and then 20 up. Compile. Save. Now we'll go to our event graph. This get corner AI will run another function or event. Go to our car AI controller and we'll go to the event graph. We're not going to use tick anymore. We're going to create a new custom event. Custom event. And this will be AI car tick. And yeah, that's perfect. Now we're going to compile. Save. And we're also gonna fix a problem we're gonna anticipate with the speed limiter. We still have a reference to the get current car speed. That's not right. We want to delete get current car speed. And then we'll just delete that. And now we're gonna plug in the branch node directly. And we're also gonna take our car speed and use that for the limiter. You can compile, save, should see no problems. That's perfect. Now we're gonna go back to our event graph in our chaos vehicle blueprint. And also the problem is we now have player input here that we want to make the AI car ignore. So the way we're gonna do that is by making branch nodes and taking our is AI controlled. So get is AI controlled and make a branch node. Plug that in. If our car is not AI controlled, then we should do the normal player stuff. So you can just do that for each and every one. Just copy both, that'd be quicker. Yeah, plug that in. And then false, W. And then it's a false. And then the last one, of course, false again. So this means the player and the AI can control the car at the same time, which is pretty cool. So compile, save, and that should be everything to my knowledge. So let's go to our vehicle advanced example map. Now let's start off by deleting our AI car. It really is not in use anymore. You can force delete that. And what we'll do is we'll take our, just delete these cars, they're not important. We'll create a chaos vehicle blueprint or just paste it into the scene. And then we'll search for AI on the side. And this AI controller, you don't want it to be on AI, you want it to be on car AI controller. That means I'll use ours, and then we can also drag a chaos vehicle blueprint. Then we'll go to search player, and this also possess, you'll make player 0. And then we'll just go and play. And you'll see the car is not driving. Idiot me did not actually call the tech function, so you'll just take your as car AI controller, of course in your chaos vehicle blueprint event graph, and then at this get corner air, we'll just call our AI car tick. And if we go now, compile, save, and we go, and we press play, we should see, yeah, our car, and he will brake, and he will take that corner just like he did. Now we moved all our AI code into a more compact thing where we don't have to make multiple blueprints for each type of car. We can just make one single car AI controller, use all the cars, and that will make our code better in the future when we want to incorporate the AI car detecting multiple cars, because in our old setup it only detected AI cars and does not detect player cars. So that's something we've fixed. We've kind of avoided that. Enough. Other than that, I understand this episode was a pretty long one, and you might not really think that it was worthwhile at all, and I can't blame you. It was a really long video, and if I had to sit through this, I would get bored as well. But the time we spent on this will save us so much more time in the future, so it's definitely worth doing all this refactory. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Like the video if you liked it, dislike the video if you didn't, and good night.